Sure is hot in Japan. That makes me sweaty and uncomfortable. But you know what else is uncomfortable? Sharing my personal medical information with my company. Let's find out what a Japanese health checkup is today. Trevor in Tokyo. So every year, as part of the national health system, every employee at a Japanese company is entitled to a checkup. Entitlement here is a prerogative in this case. You will get this checkup whether you want it or not. Fortunately, I actually do need a checkup, so I thought it would be a great and fun and exciting opportunity to see how healthy I was. No, it was quite uncomfortable, and I'll tell you exactly why. So first of all, if you're coming from the West, when you think of a medical office, you're probably used to thinking of a cool, relaxed environment where you have nice patient-doctor confidentiality in a nice little clinic room. Called to the back, you get all your blood work and checkup done, and you go on your merry way. Well, when there's 700 people at your work, you need to have something a little bit more efficient in throughput. And you know what's more efficient? An assembly line of meat. So that's exactly what happened this week. About 300 of the employees at the place where I work were all lined up to go through the conveyor belt of pain together, starting with the reception desk. Although we weren't assigned specific times to arrive, there were dedicated sessions for men and women, and I had arrived at the end of the men's session about 15 minutes to go, having forgot that this was a thing until I showed up with my rudimentary paperwork. Well, see, that's where I had the first problem. In advance, we had received packets to fill out, and the secretary, as part of our lab, had noted the places that I needed to fill out. Turns out there was another section that I needed to fill out that wasn't noted. And nobody who was at the reception, or virtually anybody at this event, could speak English. So you can imagine the frustration of everybody. And so we were trying to fill out this section as the line behind me got longer and longer, and the time got shorter and shorter, and people are checking their clocks and their phones and their wristwatches, all staring at the stupid foreigner who couldn't fill out his paperwork. Or at least that's what it felt like. So I pushed everyone back about 10 minutes, off to a great start. Well, once my packet was received, I had absolutely no idea where to go. I just see stations set up all over the place like an obstacle course. You know, back in high school or the like. So I looked around aimlessly, and I must have looked like a lost sheep because I was soon shepherded to the next station, where they gave me a cup to urinate in. I don't know why they needed it. They didn't tell me anything in English. They just said 25 milliliters. Here you go. And so I gave them their sample, and I guess they checked the pH of my urine and put a stamp on my sheet. You know, like collecting stickers in kindergarten. And then they proceeded to shepherd me to the next station, where there they measured my height and my weight, and they scribbled something on my notes that I wasn't sure, showed me some numbers that they didn't fully explain to me, and sent me on my next way. Great, that's 2 stations down. Next, I find myself lost again, looking around, and they shepherd me. Oh, here. It's time to check your eyes. Well, the eye test in Japan is a series of circles, or almost complete circles with just a little bit cut out. And you're supposed to say if it's cut out on the top, bottom, left, or right. And these circles get smaller and smaller and smaller. And when you finally can't distinguish the circle anymore, they say how terrible you did. I didn't do great. Next station, they took my blood pressure. It must have been so fun to take my blood pressure once that they wanted to do so again. Of course, the second time only came after a slight gasp and and once again, shepherded along to the next station. Here, they took 3 vials of my blood. So after I've been poked, prod, weighed, and measured, they lead me by the hand to the next station where they say, lift up your shirt. Lift it up. Lift up your shirt. Then after a bit, wrap the measuring tape around my waist to make sure I'm not gaining too much weight. Of course, they weren't doing me any favors. They had at least 2 centimeters of extra slack around my waist. So after measuring my waist, they led me around again to go see the doctor. See, this was the place where I was supposed to get my final checkup. Any additional questions or concerns that I may have had, maybe something I would have noted on the sheet that I filled out the day before in Japanese. But no, the doctor also doesn't speak any English, so just had me say, lift up your shirt, lift him up, lift up your shirt again, and proceeded to listen to my heart. Well, she must not have seen anything too exciting, because she sent me on my way without even looking at my packet of potential concerns. So either I was sufficiently healthy looking that she didn't feel like she needed to ask me any questions, or she couldn't be bothered. And considering there was probably someone else coming in about 30 seconds behind me, I could imagine she wanted a little bit of a break. After all this, with the pressure band still around my arm, putting pressure on my puncture wound in my vein, they lead me again to get my hearing check. Here they put a pair of headphones over my ears and had me say, is the sound doo-doo-doo or doo-doo-doo? Yup. Again, noted something on my packet and pushed me along. After that, they decided I needed to take a chest x-ray, so they led me outside to these big old trucks, where I proceeded to stumble up the stairs, bump into everything inside of the truck, line myself up at the x-ray, have them shoot me full of x-rays for no particular good reason, stumble off of the platform, proceed to cut open my toe, and go outside the truck. And after all of that, we head back to reception and give them my packet. What an exciting day. Fairly efficient, though. Altogether, it took maybe 15 minutes to get poked, prod, weighed, and measured. And in about a week or 2, I should receive back my notes with a grading system from A to F to see how healthy I really am. On one hand, most Americans probably need to see the doctor more often than they actually do. But on the other hand, the complete lack of decorum and the lack of privacy and the conveyor belt of meat that it felt like, I don't think would go over well with most of the public. So there's pros and cons, I see. Fingers crossed, I'll be a little bit healthy, and I won't have to make an update to this channel of surviving cancer in Japan or the like. I feel relatively healthy, at least physically, and my mental health is totally fine. So anyway, that's about it for this week. I'm Trevor in Tokyo. See ya next time.